Okay, fair enough. Yeah, it's okay. We'll play it a little after if it's necessary. To all of you here, good afternoon. Once again, namaskar to all of you for having joined on a Saturday. We have some other distinguished guests, as I said earlier. I will acknowledge the presence of Mr. Jain Oberoi, who is chairperson IGBC. He's also now heading the Northwest chapter of the Prem Jain Memorial Trust. Very distinguished person who heads a company which is as old as India is, as I fondly keep saying every time I introduce him. Then we have U.V. Krishna Mohan Rao, who was the distinguished speaker yesterday, who is also present here today. Mr. Sandeep Narang, I have only this much to say. He is a very, very quiet and modest person. When I asked before this meeting started whether I should introduce him, he said, the less you say of me, the better. As a matter of fact, for many years, I must confess that I did not know what he represented. And in 1 minute of an introduction that he did in Bombay at a meeting, I realized he represents a lot of things. I'll only briefly say this, and that might connect with many of you who are students here as well as faculty, that he has been, for at least the last 25 years, working on some unique processes for construction water, as well as for managing air quality in construction sites. This he must have been doing, I would say, from about 2008 or 10. He'll correct me if I'm wrong. The other is that the World Resources Institute invited him to sort of advise them on a model project that they're doing on such practices for construction water and for construction air management, which is not something that the building industry has conceived of or has pursued in all time anywhere. So he's doing something that is really interesting, unprecedented. He is also a member of the Board of Governors at the Prem Jain Memorial Trust. He has been responsible for some wonderful participation from very many educational institutions across India. Sandeep Narang, I will leave it there. And to the rest of you, I'll say that there will be a profile of his that will appear on the chat box in a few minutes from now. I'd request you all to read that carefully and connect it to what he's going to speak of. He'll speak for about 30 minutes. He's going to make a presentation of the approaches, the design philosophy that he adopts for doing these things. And from there, you're all welcome to see that you ask questions, interact with him, and learn from what he has to offer. Thank you so much. Over to you, Sandeep.
Thank you, Dr. Hariharan. And thank you, Jain sir, also to be part of my webinar. It's quite an honor when you are also one of the persons whom I am talking to.
Not at all. We are like brothers of the same fraternity.
Thank you, sir. We are doing this as part of 5th edition of Harit Prem Bharat Mahotsav, and Dr. Saab has been doing lots of DLS. So this is my first time I am doing a lecture series for Prem Jain Memorial Trust. So we'll be taking this presentation structure we'll do a small introduction of, I am audible, right?
Yeah. Yes, you're audible.
Yes, yes.
So we'll be going through the introduction of my subject, air quality and construction. So I will talk a bit on sustainable construction. How do I rephrase sustainable construction and design of processes? Then construction emissions, that's the one of very important topics for the day. How to tackle construction waste or construction emissions. I will give a small brief on water for construction also. That's one of my favorite subjects. And then way forward for sustainability as a skill and sustainable engineering processes in construction phase. Because we are, I believe, lots of people, I am myself a civil engineer, and lots of civil engineers or people from construction fraternity are over here. So how civil engineering has evolved over years. When I started my career in 1988, that's 35 years ago, in engineering, we used to work within those 3 triple constraints, we used to call them: cost, quality, and time. So these were the 3 factors which were, whenever we have to take any calls or any decisions for anything within the projects, we used to look whether we'll be affecting the cost of the project, or if quality is not getting down, if time is not getting extended. But now what has changed over last 5 to 10 years, sustainability is one of the equally important pillars. So from triangle of cost, quality and time, we have shifted to the rectangle of cost, quality, time and sustainability. So air quality is stopping work not only in Delhi, Mumbai also, and sustainable processes or sustainability or sustainable built environment, green buildings, sustainable construction processes, these discussions are happening within the construction fraternity. Why are these discussions happening? What we have seen over since 2009-10 when green building movement started, what's happening within the construction scenario is even any construction projects goes through 3 phases. One is the design phase, second is the construction phase, and third is the operation phase. Design phase, if you talk about a real estate project of say 12 towers, that's the usual in NCR or anywhere. So it's at least they take 12 to 18 months is the design phase when the project gets conceptualized or designed. And because architects, they are well aware of how green buildings are, how sustainability is, a lot of capacity building has happened there. So designing is green. Then comes construction. 4 or 5 years that project is under construction. What's happening during those 4 to 5 years when the project is constructed? Same green buildings which are being constructed. What's happening within that construction scenario? And then comes the and when the building gets handed over to the end user. So operation phase, we tend to get the results out of whatever design has taken place, or the design engineering shows the result of energy efficiencies. But during construction, this is the fact that during construction, not even the bigger companies are bothered about what is the water efficiency or what's energy. Are we spending the right energy? Everybody is in rush to get the construction completed. Even what's happening to the outdoor air quality during construction. So construction phase is somehow not green. That's what I want to say. And why is that? Because during the construction, we work with low wages, skill sets are low, and unproductive and inefficient techniques are being used within the India. That's in majority of the projects. So that's one of the reasons why I would say that sustainability of construction is tackling the final frontier in a landscape of green building space. What do we mean by sustainable construction practices? Intelligent utilization of water during construction phase, measurement of energy and water consumed during construction. It's a very rarity. Nobody is even measuring how much energy we could have saved during a construction phase. If I give you a small example, say if a project is worth 1000 CR, the cost to project or energy cost to the project, that's from what we get from the grid or the fuel we use for the gensets, is close to 4 to 5%. So 40 to 50 crore rupees is being spent on energy bills or diesel bills or gensets. And there is easily a scope of saving of at least 10 CR from that. But nobody has come up with the data or has shown the intent to save energy during the construction. That's the hallmark of a green building. Air quality for construction, that will be the focus topic of focus today. Reuse of construction and demolition waste. Or can we create zero wastage projects, projects where we are not wasting any of the natural resources? That's one of the ideas where I want this discussion to go to. And why I'm talking about construction and how this thing has come into the prominence. So around 6 years ago, Honorable Prime Minister came up with this India National Clean Air Plan. So it's written 122 cities, but it's 131 cities now, where air quality has gone beyond what's recommended by the CPCB, Central Pollution Control Board, for a good health practices. Delhi is one of the pollutest capital of the world. We all know that. Besides Delhi, there are 131 cities. Even Jaipur is a very polluted city. Mumbai, although is on the seashore, they were having a 10 days construction ban in the December because of the AQI level going beyond 250 to 70. So this is one of the problems. And what happens once a city is non-attainment city, they do apportionment study. Apportionment studies, from where are these all pollutants coming from? They are usually industry emissions, transport emission, municipal solid waste burning, or emissions from the construction projects, road dust. Based on the apportionment study results, we start treating each polluting sources. I am working in the field of construction emissions with few international organizations as consultant. Why are we talking this? Yeah, I worked as senior vice president for a real estate company. When a project which you are heading gets fined by government or anyone, it gives you a very bad report. Like, this is a news item from October 8, 2021. And that was the first day of GRAP in Delhi. GRAP is Graded Response Action Plan. The day AQI went beyond 300, and Delhi government had ordered ban on construction sites. So Delhi Environment Minister Gopal Rai ji, he went for an inspection, and he did fine a construction firm 5 lakh rupees for violating dust control norms in Delhi. Now, why is this very important? Because that project site was in Pragati Maidan, ITPO, Indian Trade Promotional Organization, ITPO site. And the company doing the construction was L&T. Now, L&T is number one premier construction company. And there was smoke guns over there. The tarpaulin net had been put up for show, either in parts or was completely torn apart. That's what the news item is saying. And the company was fined 5 lakh rupees. I was doing one of the capacity building programs for DPCC, and I met the project manager, project head of that project site, and he was feeling so bad. He said, Sandeep sir, I'm feeling so bad. Why am I showing this? At project sites, whenever anything goes wrong, we do root cause analysis. Why this thing has happened at my project site, why my site got banned, or why my site got fined. And we try to find out a way. We civil engineers that's a part of being project management processes to do root cause analysis. So over next 20 minutes, when I do the presentation, I request all the participants or the students, I believe there are a few students from Rick School of Built Environment also, to do a root cause analysis. So if they are heading a site, what can they do so that their project site next year or wherever they are working is not fined or banned? So that's one of the ideas of going through this presentation. What is this construction dust or construction emission? Now, construction dust is residue of construction activity and process. Whenever we do construction, lots of activities like excavation, dismantling, transportation of materials, they are happening. And each activity is producing or emitting PM 2.5, PM 10 into the outdoor air quality. Now, construction dust is happening 24/7, 365 days a year, because the work happens round the clock at all the project sites. And what can project teams should be doing to tackle construction dust? So I keep on telling wherever I do these presentations or do my presentations on construction emissions, I say, like automobile engineers, they did their work with emission from automobiles. They improved their engines, they improved their efficiencies, and emission from automobiles is cleaner over the years. We civil engineering project teams have to think like automobile engineers. We can control our emissions from construction site in a very good way. And remember this, civil engineering is the easiest of all the engineering. Our processes are easiest of all the processes. It's just the intent we need to carry and sustainable mindset that we shouldn't be emanating PM 2.5, PM 10. Very simple processes I will be explaining. Just by changing our behavior pattern, we can control 70 to 80% of construction emissions. So mandate is to mitigate emissions from construction processes within the micro boundaries of construction projects, because whatever PM 2.5, PM 10 gets out of the micro boundaries, it becomes road dust, and it hands the road dust, and it's a legacy dust then. Now, this is a pie of Delhi. In Delhi, road dust is 38% PM 2.5 and PM 10 is 56%. So total 44%, 38 plus 6%, 44% is the road dust plus construction dust, PM 10, and 70% is road dust plus construction dust. The fraction shown as road dust, this is also the construction dust which has come out of the micro boundaries. And for the information of Jain O'Brien sir, in Jaipur, road dust is PM 2.5, road dust constitutes 70% in Jaipur. If you go through this same apportionment study of PM 10 for the Jaipur. So there is a lot, and if you travel around Jaipur, going around the streets of Jaipur, we can see there is a lots of road dust.
But it is more in Jodhpur than Jaipur.
Yes, sir. So dust and construction contribution to air. Now, this is another interesting study. In summers, we do more of PM 2.5 and PM 10. That's around 20 to 30% more construction emissions happen during summers, but not in winters. But what's happening is because of the climatic conditions in Delhi, our construction projects can get banned during the winters, which is again a point we have been putting across to DPCC, NGT, others, that we shouldn't be banning the construction projects, rather controlling the construction emissions. Now, I'm part of this study which is happening at Surat, as Dr. Hariharan was had put a mention to it. Road dust source apportionment. What is the proportion of construction dust into the road dust? There are no studies in India about this, so we'll be doing the first study. So once that study is complete and out, and from the preliminary reports what we are having, lots of construction dust is responsible for a very big fraction of the road dust. Wherever construction is happening, you can see the road dust, percentage of road dust is very long. Like if the people who live in Delhi, if you go around Pragati Maidan, you will see, because the Pragati Maidan was being done and that underground tunnel was being constructed. So there was lots of road dust around Pragati Maidan. And why is construction dust a problem? It creates health problems, environmental degradation, problems with visibility, unsafe working condition. And these are few processes which are the reasons of construction emissions happening: demolition activities, site preparation activities, vehicle movement, as I mentioned. And benefit of effective construction dust, there are huge benefits if we talk about within the landscape that's happening within Delhi. Makes you a responsible company, and you can we are losing lots of finances because the construction is being closed for a month every year. So there are two factors on which construction dust is, or the amount of construction is dependent. I am working pan-India on this subject. So one is the soil type. Delhi or Jaipur, again, we have alluvial soil where the clay percentage is more. So whatever small disturbance we do to the soil, lots of PM 2.5 comes out and hangs in the atmosphere. Whereas working in Maharashtra or Gujarat, it's easy because there we have black cotton soil, which is more firm and less clay content. So soil type is very important. And the second is the climate zone where we are working, in the same climate when we are doing those activities. So if engineering team can understand the soil and the climate, like same excavation happening in Delhi in July, August will be producing less PM 2.5, PM 10. Whether when it's happening in March, it will be the more construction emissions will be happening. So the construction project team can manage that by improving or doing lots of fogging or improving the moisture content within the project site. So these are the two factors. And we go through these 3 points when we tackle construction emissions. We can take use of technology, then innovative ideas of the project teams, how project teams can tackle construction emissions. This subject is very new. Very few people are having discussions on this in India. And I am the only civil engineer who has put 3 or 4 guidelines for different municipalities on how to work on construction emissions, training and capacity building. This is also one of the factors where, because our people who are working on the project sites have zero training on how to tackle construction emissions. National Building Code, Volume 2, I even put the page number over here. It says that we should be measuring for air quality, outdoor air quality within the construction projects. In Delhi, for last 2 years, it was made mandatory. In NCR, it's only made mandatory last year. it's already there in National Building Code, but none of the projects pan India, they put up air quality monitors to know what's happening around the project site when they are going through different processes. So outdoor air quality sensors, we have been talking to NGT, National Green Tribunal, and pollution control boards. We have requested them to allow low cost air quality monitors, and they are okay with it. So all the construction projects or the construction fraternity should be putting on or doing air quality monitoring. I will show the case study where this helps also. So monitoring for construction dust is one of the very important use of technology. Fogging machines for settlement of dust. In Delhi, it's again mandatory, not in rest of the India. It's important because when we know about the processes, so fogging should be process-based, or whichever process is emanating PM 2.5 and PM 10. If the project team has a fogging machine, they can control PM 2.5 and PM 10. But in Delhi, what they did, they said you have to put 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the evening. The fogging machines have to be put there in the site. That's a waste of water or waste of energy, because construction sites are not emanating emissions all the time. There are only few processes which produce emissions, and the project team, that's what I said, innovative ideas of the project team. Project team knows best when to use this fogging machine. So I have been putting this point across with pollution control boards, and few of the pollution control boards are accepting this, not to make fogging machine mandatory, but to process based. They are very good for settlement of dust when demolition is happening. Wheel wash at project sites. This is also again mandatory. Very few projects, they have these wheel washes at the project site, and it doesn't add very much to the cost. Hardly 3 to 4 lakh rupees is needed, and even the water being used for the wheel wash can be recycled also. So this is how we did. This is a photograph from the road construction happening for Kartarpur corridor in Punjab. This is how we construct the roads, and outside India they use mulch carpets to help out to stabilize the banks. In India we don't do that. Mulch carpets are again very effective and very low cost solutions. Hydro seeding is one of the solutions which is rarely practiced in India, but now in Delhi or areas we are trying to we are making companies realize that by just putting low cost grass on the embankments, it will help curtail the erosions. Hydro mulching, this is also one of the ideas. Concrete patching plants are open in Delhi or North India, whereas people, even the Pollution Control Board or Maharashtra Act, they say you have to have the closed, covered concrete patching plants, which will be effective in controlling construction emissions from a batching plant. We have been talking about, we have a project schedule at all the projects. Similarly, if we can have a construction dust mitigation schedule so that there are no surprises happening to the project team. We all know, we the project people know when this particular process will be happening. We have a whole 60 months project schedule. So if we can use this, we can create this construction dust mitigation schedule. So this will be quite helpful in controlling the construction emissions. I have been part of 3 or 4 handbooks I have mentioned to their, they can be downloaded from internet for free. One from WRI site, the other from Clean Air Asia site. So these are the 2 handbooks where all these discussions, whatever are happening, they have already been mentioned there. Dr. Hariharan talked about the work in Surat. So this is my first part, what I wanted to talk about, air quality. I will take just 2 minutes or 3 minutes talking on the water part. So this is underground water extraction was banned in Delhi, but still we have been taking out water, and even in Noida, there was a government decision to ban construction. They said we don't have water for the houses that have been already constructed in Noida. So why to make more construction? We are losing water at 3.87 meters per year of the underground table, and right on the banks of Yamuna or Hindon River. So there is no water. Water in Noida. When I started my career, water was at 20 feet. Now it's at 400 feet in Noida. So this is what the water has happened to India. Now, MGT has banned underground water extraction for construction. Again, government says housing for all, development has to have place. Authorities approve construction of projects knowing that there is no water for construction. We are not again doing any qualitative studies, quantitative studies of how much water do we need for construction. Direct water, embedded water footprint is the water we need for the construction site. There's only one study, that's why from Dr. Chandra you can, the students who are interested can Google about this study. It says that 132 liter per square feet of construction in an 18-story apartment at water was used. I did few pilot programs, and we did quantify for the water, and we had come to a discussion that so much of water is never needed, because in that white paper of Dr. Suchandra Vardhan, she had two pumps at the project site. One was 6 bhp, and was 8 bhp, and whatever water was taken out was used as a consumed water. Whereas from my studies, if we account for not wasting water, the same project can be done. It will be 60 to 70 liters of water. So any student or anyone who is interested in knowing more about this can contact me. I will be sharing my numbers and addresses at the end of this program. If at a project site you see signs like this, water pools like this means that water is being wasted. If you see a basement of a under construction project water pool, then it means that water has been wasted at the construction site. These are bad photographs from a construction project I am showing in the presentation. Now, what is the way out? We have been talking about problems on construction emissions and water. Why is this happening? In India, when we go and we do project teams and their skill set, so people in top management are very few, and they have skill set with respect to sustainability, or they have been exposed to other improved construction methodologies. What about mid-management? There are more people in mid-management, skill set goes moderate. And supervisory or staff workers, they are low-skill workers, lowly paid workers, and skill sets are absolutely zero. And this we call knowledge matrix of a project. We call it iceberg of ignorance. The problems I have been talking about, tackling of construction emissions, wastage of construction water, all the problems are happening with the people who have a zero skill set. Again, how do we go about at a project site? So we at a project site, whenever we want something changes to happen, we go through this, and this we call it is a man management technique. We call it OODA loop: observe, orient, decide, act. Everyone uses, even Swachh Bharat Abhiyan is one of the biggest example of OODA loop, where lots of observation was put into the whole citizens of India to keep India clean. All the big film stars, cricket stars, comedians, they will come and keep India clean. Prime Minister spoke about keeping India clean. Go to any project site, and you won't find any signages about not wasting water or any good thing that has to happen with the air quality and construction. If we talk about way forward for construction companies and builders, it has to happen in 3 stages. First is informative stage, where we should be putting visuals at site, going through that OODA loop. The company should be having company policy for air quality during construction, water uses, energy uses. Then the second phase is voluntary stage. Train staff for sustainable construction practices, lean construction management. It talks about stopping wastages, or it classifies the wastages at construction project. Then we can come down to the third stage, where we can link it with the key responsibility areas of the project teams. I will show a case study of Jaipur. It's one of the Trimurti group projects, where we put it's a single tower being constructed. I'm sorry I can't share the case study of Surat, because I am in a non-disclosure agreement NDA with WRI, where I can't talk about that project. The reports will come from WRI, and that will be shared across, say, in 2 to 3 months, everyone will be knowing, and then even I can share with this within my presentations. So this is the project in Jaipur, where we had put one Airveda outdoor air quality monitor at the project. We had signages at site for awareness and training. These are the signages from the project site. These are signages at Signature Global site, another project I have been doing. So And this is the report of last year, 31st March, 15 days report. Now, because the structure work was happening within the basement level, PM2, the part written as Polcom is Police Commissionerate, is the nearest CPCB monitoring station. When we were monitoring it twice a day, 12 noon and 6 p.m. when the construction activities are at peak. Or on 31st March, when Police Commissionerate showed 70 PM2.5, our site was 12. It was way, way low. Construction projects, this I'm showing you, and if you can go through any data of construction projects, there is PM2.5 or PM10 emissions happen or peak when there are few processes that are emanating. It's not that the construction sites are emanating it throughout when the construction is happening. Again, it's company policy for air quality during construction. There's a company policy of Trimurti Group. They train all staff on mitigation of construction dust during construction processes. They measure ambient air quality. They train contractors for transportation of materials in safe manners. They do sheathing of construction site to control construction dust not getting into ambient air, dumping of construction and demolition waste with increased moisture content. And they have created this construction dust mitigation schedule for the project so that they know in advance what mitigation measures have to be taken for the project. Similarly, they have company policy for water conservation also. That's the wrong way of doing a curing. And that's the right way of using nozzles where there are no runoffs happening. This is happening at Trimurti, Jaipur. These are the results when sustainable construction practices are being trained or done. So I've been talking about creating zero water wastage projects or zero wastage projects where we don't waste natural resources during the construction phase. These are again few of the signages at few of the projects I have been working as a consultant. So from my last discussion of 25 to 30 minutes, understanding of construction dust generation from the process, I talked about this. I talked about constraints from soil type and climate, being innovative for dust mitigation from the project teams. I talked about measurement of ambient air quality at site. I talked about creating policy for dust control at site and training and capacity building of the team. Now I come back to root cause analysis. So I will request if the students or whosoever is here, if they can write down on what, if they were doing the project, what they feel was missing with L&T and they got fined. They already had all the smoke guns at the project site, tarpaulins at the project site. They had all the resources. L&T always has all the resources and they have top engineers. So why again having top engineers, being premier company, knowing all about the regulations, the site gets fined for 5 lakh rupees. So I will request students or whosoever can put the comments or can come and talk about this on what could they have been done to escape that fine. And my last slide will talk about, I always tell the companies or the wherever teams I work with to be proactive in tackling construction dust. We should be showcasing technology support, creating policies, and projects teams to have knowledge and ideas of how to mitigate construction dust within the project boundaries. And this is my message to all the students and whosoever is here. In the race of excellence, there are no finish lines. Thank you. This is my mobile number. I request anyone, if you want to get in touch with me, WhatsApp me, set up a time for call. And I'm always there to answer all the answers to the students. I love the students of India, and that's the way Dr. Jain would talk about Green Bharat, Harit Bharat. And that's again my email ID. Thank you. Thank you for.
Right. Thank you. Precise as usual, Sandeep. Thank you so much for a very methodological presentation from you. UV Krishna Mohanrao, are you there? Can you say hello? Are you? Yeah. Yes, Krishna, are you there? Yes. Would you want to unmute and say hello to us? Hello, Krishna? No. Okay. Jain, you're there, right? No. Yes. Jain?
He is there, but he's on mute.
I know he has to unmute himself. How do we do that? Both are not speaking. Okay, Professor Saurabh, maybe we should come to you. You give, there he is, Jain is there. Jain, please, yes, please, you can unmute again and share your thoughts before we invite Professor Saurabh. Jain, you're right? No. Okay, Professor Saurabh, back to you. Sorry. Yes, yes.
There's no sound.
Saurabh ji, if you can unmute and try without hands-free.
Yes, yeah, I think without headphones,
Yes,
We are very clear.
all
very
right.
clear.
All right. So, wonderful presentation, Sandeep ji. Very relevant, very pertinent. I think the solutions which you gave are very simple and very important. This kind of information has to be available to everyone at the construction site. And I'll make sure that whatever you have taught is part of our curriculum, which our students undergo, and everyone understands sustainable practices during construction. And thank you so much for having more visual feel to the presentation, because, I think that speaks a lot. And surely I'll be inviting you further to our programs where you can directly address on these topics to students. So I would like students to ask more questions. I can see there are some Q&A in the chat. Maybe we can look at that. Thank you.
Right. Are there any of the Q&A? Yes, there are only 2 or 3. Why don't we use to you, Sandeep Narang, sir? Why don't we use air filtering systems when you have air dust generation?
Actually, dust extractors or similar equipments are not available in India, number one, and they are very costly.
Yeah.
Now, going to a problem of addressing a problem 100%, 70 to 80% of the problem can be addressed by just changing your behavior. Like I will give an example during the vehicle movement, slowing down on the vehicles. If you slow down on the vehicle within the construction site, you will be emanating less dust. So what should we be doing as a project manager? I won't be allowing my vehicles to go at a high speed, then run after that vehicle with a fogging machine to settle the dust. Rather, I would have the other way around. In countries outside India, they use extraction systems, but again, they have lots of budgets to spend on construction. In India, we are still 60 to 70, they say 60% of India is yet to be constructed. But India that has to be constructed is low cost housing. You can't put costly air, you can't not be doing sustainable construction practices and be looking forward to those machineries which are high on cost, and they will be affecting the cost lines of the project. So the air filtering system can come, but first 70 to 80%, whatever can happen, let's do that first. Then for the next 20%, we can come and do the air filtering system also.
Okay. The other question from someone called Sonal Kumar Singh is not using fogging machines on time could be the main cause. Is that right?
That was the answer to my question, why L&T got fined. So I will be looking forward, it is 4:41, I will be looking forward to more reasons coming from students or construction professionals whosoever are here. Then I will answer, then I will give the right answer.
Lovely. Let me also acknowledge Dr. Gayatri Aditya. She's here after a long time. Gayatri, good afternoon to you. Namaste. Are you there?
Good evening, sir.
Very
Hi.
nice to listen to you, hear you after a long time. Any thoughts on what, on this very unique, direction for construction management that our Sandeep Narang is talking about?
Right, I talking from the academic perspective. So where we right now, I was just thinking where we kind of talk of the CPM, PERT kind of things in the curriculum. I think maybe somewhere we should bring in this aspect, this component into the syllabus, or to create this awareness in the young minds is what I was just thinking.
You should, and we can invite Sandeep Narang to your institution. By the way,
Sure,
for the rest of you, Dr. Gayatri Aditya is the head of the Invitee School of Department of Architecture and Urban Planning. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Very nice presentation, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other thoughts, Gayatri, from you on what he presented?
I'm just thinking like, especially the addition in the curriculum. And second thing is like maybe involvement of students in these kind of projects somewhere. Should, like internship programs or somewhere where this kind of like now a lot of our students work with PJMT, even with your organization. So where they are now started talking about these things in their project, in their studios and academic works. So somewhere like maybe we should see some collaboration where we can work on these kind of internship for students especially.
Fair enough. Got that. Can I request all of you to turn on your video, please, for just maybe 30 seconds? She wants to. Yatin wants to. Yeah, there you are. While they all do it, Jain you have been, bringing in all kinds of innovations in your, even if you are coming only from the construction aspects of it, and for promoters and clients and large clients at that. What is your take from how, as industry members, you have been presiding over at CII, then here at IGBC, and now at PJMT. How do you think industry can be persuaded to adopt some of these practices that Sandeep is talking about? And can I request all of you to turn on your video, please? One moment. Okay, there I am. No, mine is all. Yes, Jain. No, you have to unmute, please. Jain, you have to unmute.
Yeah. See, but when we apply, okay, I said some are conscious, others are not, majority are not conscious. But when we apply it to a general rule, and it's a matter of audit. As per IGBC, everything has to be audited. Now we have enforced into our projects an audit of the water, like we were doing for electricity at every stage, weekly, monthly, yearly. And even for water, I have brought it at the Jodhpur project. Likewise, I'm doing a new project right now. So we should enforce this during the construction stage also, and make and get them a few formats ready as to how during the construction project, water can be audited. The use of water can be audited. Mr. Narang, maybe with your help or with the help of IGBC or with your PJMT or Mr. We could make a format that during process, see, it has to appeal to your conscience. If it appeals to your conscience, it will. That's the whole idea. If it doesn't, then one will waste water. That's one way. And second way, the second thing being that water being a national priority, let's, through IGBC or directly, let's have it that like labor laws, like laws as far as Provident Fund, etc., even water audit is very important. So they're the two other ways I can just think of immediately.
Right.
Unless
Absolutely. Talking of water audits, Krishna Mohan Rao, UV Krishna, can you say hello to us? UV Krishna, are you there? He's there, I know. He's been listening to it, but why is he not saying hello? I don't know. Anyway, Ajizul Khan, would you want to speak? Add anything to?
Sir, I want to respond to Jain O'Brien, sir. Sir, I had a discussion with the IGBC team also, and even with the Griha team. what's happened is that for IGBC certification or Griha certification, they say that if architect issues a certificate that a project has saved water during construction, we award 1 point. So, and even for air quality during construction, an architect certificate gives us points. And although our National Building Code says that we have to measure ambient air quality, nobody, even our codes have this part is missing from the code. So I have been talking to our IGBC technical team, even to the Griha team, that you should come up with the metrics, what Jain sir said, during construction phase. Don't award points just by having an IG certificate, or take an architect certificate for energy efficiency and air quality also, indoor air quality. For everything, don't measure other components also. Take architect certificate and award points for everywhere. For energy efficiency, we want metrics, performance metrics. So these are few points I would like to put into the context. You are muted, sir.
Sorry, to the rest of you here who are faculty and students, you heard Jain sir, you heard Sandeep sir now. Essentially, look at the number. If let's say only a small building of 1 lakh square feet is being built, you heard Sandeep sir presenting earlier and saying in a conventional setup, about 100 to 120 liters per square foot is spent as construction water. He says with the simple audit processes, low cost approaches that he is talking about, we can bring this down by 75% to 25 to 30 liters per square foot. What does that mean? If I take therefore 100,000 square feet and I multiply it by just let us say 80 liters per square foot, you are talking of 1 million liters. And 1 million liters is 1000 KLB, 1000 into 5 units. Today, if you draw from a borewell, you're going to spend at least 5 electricity units. And in a construction site, what happens? Our Jain sir knows. You're paying at temporary power charges. You're paying at 18 rupees, 20 rupees. You're not paying at some domestic tariff, which means on that same 1000 KLD into 5, 5000 into 20, 1 lakh rupees. This is for only 1 lakh square feet, I'm saying. Can you imagine the amount of energy cost as financial bill that every project pays if, and how much they can save if you did that? Professor Saurabh, do you want to respond to this maths that I'm talking about? Of sheer financial saving. Yes, sir, Jain, you want to say something?
Yeah, I want to say something. See, you talked in terms of paying of water, right?
Right.
There is at a lot of construction sites, yes, even we have to pay for water. We used to pay for water. But now what happens is that we are boring wells. So it is the payment does not occur to a builder or a contractor. What has to occur to him is a mandatory, I mean, it's coming out of the ground. They don't realize that it's, they're depleting the ground resource.
Exactly.
So it has to be either through architects or a part of a contract provision or through some other means that a water audit, how much of water you consume. It's not payment or it's not what you are drawing. It's what you're consuming. That has to be, you got me, Mr. Narang? Because, people, whether it be builders or whether it be, promoters, they don't bother about how much of water is coming out of ground.
Sir, I will give you a very interesting viewpoint. And this is a battle I have been fighting for last few years now in Haryana. In Gurgaon, what happens is the projects can't take water, underground water extraction is banned in NCR.
Yeah.
You can't extract water for construction. And again, where do we get water from? They say you use STP treated water, which is very scarce, which can't suffice the construction that's going on in Haryana. So the projects which are happening in Haryana or Gurgaon, there is a village, say 2 to 3 kilometers from that project. That's a Lal Dora Jameen, they call it, where their municipal laws are not applicable. So the project, the tankers, the water tankers, they withdraw water from that village borewell. They bring water to the construction project site. And that water is being used at the construction project site. Now, it's a very interesting concept. I have been requesting CPCB or underground water authorities, if a project team says that I will be using, this is my water theoretical, I need 60 liters of water, please allow me to extract water from a project site, because extracting water 2 kilometers from project site is the same water aquifer where the water is coming from. You withdraw from the project site or 2-3 kilometers, that underground water is same. What we are doing is we are adding carbon footprint by transporting that water from 3 kilometers down to the site. And this is what everyone is, even the construction fraternity wants, but somehow we are unable to get down to a reliable methodology of saying, okay, this is the water that is needed for the construction. And even the impending water bill in the parliament, it says that you have to put your water requirements in a formatted manner. Any industry which is using some amount of water per annum, and construction industry is within that. Come a day, all the construction companies, they will have to say, I needed 5 lakh liter water for this project and I have consumed 5 lakh liter water. That day is not far. So this discussion on from where the water will be coming and where the water will be going. I gave you a particular example of red tapeism of what's happening in Gurgaon or NCR. We are adding carbon footprint to the project just by transporting water from say 3-4 kilometers, whereas the same aquifer is getting depleted.
Now there's another participant here, Shravan, who is asking you another question related to what you just now said. He says, typically in most construction companies, because of this tendering process, they're not able to charge more, and therefore many of these practices cannot be implemented. My contention would be to you, Sandeep, I am sure you have a defense for this, that actually you're reducing the cost in a project if you did this, and it will only help in this kind of L1 process. Is that right? You have to unmute. You have to unmute. Yeah. Yeah.
I still don't understand how finance is connected with the skill gap.
Listen to it, Shravan.
How finance is connected with the skill gap.
Correct.
I don't understand this.
Good. Shravan, if you want to...
Nobody pays you to, nobody will be paying for unskilled people. There are people who are skilled. Okay, there are specialized skill sets which we are unable to pass on. But these skill sets of using water, not wasting water, they're all simple skill sets. This is just simply, as I have shown in my presentation, there are no signages. See, go to a project site, you will find lots of signages to wear helmet, not touch wires, for save yourself from electric shock, don't go near. But tell me the projects where they say, okay, you don't have to waste water. Any project site where the mandate is from the top management, if you are found wasting water, we will penalize you. There will be signages on not using tobacco or not smoking. Those signages are there, but what about wastages of water? So it's not about the skill gap. And again, coming to the prices or this is a very big subject. I don't think we should be taking this skill set and price.
Sure. The other one is, you know, this whole emergence of 3D building technologies, etc. How is that going to help is one question that has come up on the Q&A. You want to take it, or what do you want?
This will help dirt generation, no doubt, sir. But again, by 3D technology, how much construction can we do?
Correct.
We might be able to do, say, very, very high 0.05% of the construction. Rest, the 60% of India which has to be constructed is low-cost housing. We shouldn't be forgetting this, that all the construction has to have 60 to 70% construction will come conventional way. Lots of high-rise buildings are using My1 technology, lots of RCC work happening. So these things are helping in reducing the construction mitigations. I'm 100% with this discussion. Yes.
Jain, any last words from you before you leave? You have to unmute, please.
Yeah. Well, I just about said my point of view, and I put it in 2 lines also. It's been very interesting, but maybe we can have some more discussion on this and take it forward both to IGBC and to CII as to how we bring. It's very important, and maybe we could also be able to take it to the Water Commission as far as CII is concerned. Right. We have a Water Commission panel there, so we could refer it to them also. That's about it. With 5, I have to attend something else. So
thank you so much.
I have to leave.
Thank you, sir.
Nice
thank you for your
time for us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I think to all of you, I'm saying this, including our Sandeep Narang, who has been championing this, that this whole idea of construction water management has to be mainstreamed in industry. There is a role that academia can play like anywhere else in the world. Professor Saurabh, do you want to speak on how academia can possibly help in mainstreaming such innovations of the future, as in this case of construction water management and efficiencies? Professor Saurabh.
Sure. I think the gap pyramid which Sandeep ji showed in his presentation. So at school, we produce a lot of middle managers and top managers, and I think they understand many things, and many things are behavioral which need to be implemented at the site. Actually, the presentation, I think out of the skill also, I'll say 70 to 80% is the behavioral change. You have an idea about it, but it's your behavior, not you have been behaving. Water has been mistreated in this country for a long time. So skill gap at middle level manager, I think it's very important that we make our students aware, and I'll make sure whatever points Mr. Sandeep Narang ji made during the presentation, it's taught thoroughly to our MBA and BBA students, but it's also important for them to inculcate in the lower skilled level people these points. And when we go for a degree distribution ceremony, there is a dress rehearsal. Similarly, before the construction work, I think there should be a dress rehearsal on the behaviors which the lower skill level people can, in a more observed surrounding, they can demonstrate, so that it becomes a part of the habit. So that's the few points which I want to make. Thank you.
Sir, unmute, sir.
Sorry, I had muted myself. I have some ambient noises here. Gayatri, do you want to have some last words before we close in response to what Saurabh talked about from the academia angle?
No, I completely agree, like what he was mentioning, like the rehearsal in before is a very good thought, where we can kind of again coming back to students and saying that they can actually go through that drill of give them that experience, and exposure would be a very ideal thing.
I would like to come up with last few words, please, if I'm allowed, in the last 1 minute, sir. So I will respond to 2 or 3 things that this discussion happened. So Gayatri ma'am, I have been doing lots of faculty development programs, or the programs on skill set sharing with the students also, for 2 reasons. I am doing at least 5 or 7 projects I am doing where I need interns from the students, civil engineering or mechanical engineering student, who can come and do monitoring at the project sites. I am doing Clean Air Better Health program of USAID with CEW, and few other project sites I'm already involved with. And we are not able to find students because no messaging is going to the students. Okay, there is you can make career out of going for parallel. All the engineering students, they want to go into core engineering. I am a civil engineer. I keep on talking about parallel skill sets to the engineer. Even if you are doing mechanical engineering, look for career in sustainability, in air quality monitoring, waste treatment, water treatment, air conditioning. So this is one of the skill set gaps that's happening. So we have been doing lots of FTP, and will be glad to associate with any institute or your institute also. This is one of the points. Second point was the question I asked to the audience of what was missing at L&T. Now L&T only training and capacity building training was missing. They didn't train their people. They had the engineers, and training wouldn't have costed them anything. No training program costs a single rupee. If they had trained their staff, then they had all the machinery and they could have escaped that fine. So training your people, that point has been discussed a few times also within this discussion. It's very important to train your juniors.
Absolutely.
In whatever skill set you have, keep on training your people, it pays back to you. That's my last submission and
Right.
last one.
Professor Saurabh and Dr. Gayatri, would you want to take his offer of giving some of these students the privilege of mapping those parameters that he discussed or spoke about?
Sure, why not? I mean, I'll be in touch with Sandeep ji, and we can look at the timings and how we can
Correct.
facilitate that.
Correct.
All for it, sir. Thank you.
Wonderful. Gayatri, would you want to have some of your engineering students? I know you come from the Department of Architecture, but
Yes, sir.
the IGBC chapter has it. Do you want to send some students? He said civil.
Definitely, definitely. Since, as you know, our engineering, architecture, and planning, all three are under the student chapter. So yes, I would love to do that. Hello?
Yes, yes. Now we can hear you guys.
Yeah, no. I said our student chapter has all the three departments: engineering, architecture, and planning.
Okay.
So
Yes.
definitely, we would love to be part of
Correct.
it.
That's right.
And just to add to point, what Sir was mentioning that definitely like the course curriculum which you have brought in, we are working on that building sciences. So where we can, it is no more like very specific to, civil engineering, architecture or mechanical engineering. It is like the building sciences which we have to kind of
Exactly.
develop.
Thank you. You tell me when, and I'm willing to talk to you about that building sciences blessed program, and we can take
Definitely.
it forward. While
Yes.
you're absolutely right, in the kind of in these frontier innovations that people like Sandeep Narang are now pushing, people like you have to see how you give the students. They have the opportunity. He secures the kind of mapping metrics that he needs for establishing these things, and then, like our Jain Oberoi said, we see what we can do to accelerate this process of mainstreaming, not adoption. Adoption will take more time. First, we have to get to like the Jeffrey Moore curve. This initial stage when you need early adopters is what he's looking for. He's doing one project in Surat, as he told you all. How do we get more such early adopters from the building industry is the next step. That people like Jain will help me to do that. But you're right, Sandeep. You're right, guys. You have to work with Sandeep. Saurabh should work with Sandeep. I'll connect you to him if you already are not connected to Sandeep Narang. Wonderful man to work with, I'll tell you that much.
Yes.
UV Krishnamon, last chance for you if you want to say hello and share some notes. No, he's not on. Pile Jain, over to you. Some last notes before we close. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. No, nothing. I've just been listening to Sandeep as always. He's clear, crystal clear, to the point, short, crisp, super effective. Thank you very much, Sandeep. That was a wonderful. This is the first time I've heard you, by the way. It was very, very good.
I
really
know.
enjoyed it.
See
Thank
this,
you.
So he's, when you have a casual chat, to all of you, I say, if you have a casual chat with Sandeep Narang, you will never ever know that he represents another side of him, which is as focused and, like I said earlier, methodological. He's very precise when he's speaking. And thank you, Sandeep Narang. Thank you, indebted to you for having helped us conclude this Mahotsav with this last session that we're having today. Yatin Malik, I have no words of gratitude for you. All through, you have been consistently supporting, doing what you can to make these events happen. Thank you, Yatin.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
This is our
Thank
Mahotsav.
you, Yatin. Very well done. Fabulous, Mahotsav. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Thank you,
This is our
Saurabh, for
last
being here.
session. Thank you.
Have a great weekend, all of you. Wonderful. Wonderful to be with you again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.